Good evening, all, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Gerald Johnson, and I serve as the Chief Development Officer at Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And we're excited to be joined tonight by our special partners, SalesTrac Training, who will be presenting tonight's program featuring a 2022 preview of what brothers can expect to gain by attending one of their upcoming master's classes. We're excited tonight to be joined by our brother Tyson, who is the CEO of SalesTrac. And I'd like to introduce Brother Tyson now. Brother Tyson, how are you this evening?
Great, Brother Johnson. It is great to be here in the House of Alpha.
There we go.
Via Sinks TV live.
Absolutely, my brother. And I know you're going to dive into it in just a moment. But we're currently, we have some opportunities available for our brothers in the form of master's classes. And will you be getting into that tonight, or you want to give them a little bit of what they can expect?
Sure. Thanks a lot, Brother Johnson. The master's classes, we have put those things together as a part of a partnership with Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. This is an exclusive program for the brotherhood, for the brotherhood of Alpha Phi Alpha, and we are elated to provide these programs for you. We actually have two types of classes that we will be offering. One is a class that focuses on sales training. And this is something that we would like to make sure that brothers have an opportunity to gain. The other segment we have is what we call bundle, is a bundle training class. And that program will focus on three areas. We'll talk about goal setting for 2022. We'll talk about health and wellness in the workplace. And we'll also talk about your communication styles with an assessment tool that we utilize called DISC.
Brother Tyson, thank you so much for giving us that overview. Brothers, you can find out more information about these master classes by visiting Alpha Elite. Yes, you can either visit us on the website, or you can also download the Alpha Phi Alpha app, which will also give you that information. Brother Tyson, I'm going to stop taking up all of your time here and taking your shine and pass it back over to you to get us kicked off for this evening.
Okay, thank you a lot. So what I would like to do, first of all, if that's available, is introduce my team that is joining me this evening, and then we will go with the video. So my team includes the director of SalesTrac is Coach Jamila. She'll be presenting tonight, as well as we have Brother Dr. Eric Waters, who is an executive coach. He's worked directly with Alpha headquarters and doing some coaching. And so we'll have him talk a little bit about how he's been utilizing DISC with the Alpha headquarters team. Now, what we would love to do is to get this party started. And the way we'll do that is I want to introduce to you one of my partners. His name is Hillman Johnson, and Hillman could not be with us this evening, but Hillman sent a special video presentation that will highlight what we'll be doing as a part of the Sales Training Masterclass. So without any further ado, let's bring up Hillman Johnson.
Good afternoon, Alphas. My name is Hillman Johnson. I am the Managing Director of Closed Loop and Closed Loop Capital. Closed Loop is a sales strategy, training, and enablement firm. I'm based out here in the land of Willie Brown in San Francisco. Originally, though, from the land of Harold Washington in Chicago, but I've been out here for about 20 years. I call that home. Closed Loop Capital is a venture capital firm that invests in seed stage technology companies as well. And I've been at this for about 20 years. You know, I appreciate the invitation to speak to you today. I apologize that I can't be there in person. I'm actually likely on a plane as we speak, but happy to connect with anyone who's interested. Please connect with me on LinkedIn or through the program itself. So really quickly, this program that we put together, you know, I've had the benefit and the privilege to be able to work with some of the fastest growing companies in the United States over the course of the last 20, 25 years. These include firms like Salesforce, SurveyMonkey, Amazon. I've worked with Google, not just tech. I've actually not necessarily fast growing, but high growth firms. I've worked with Morgan Stanley. I've worked with Bank of America. You know, the list goes on and on. at any rate, my niche really, and my organization's niche, I've got 25 folks that work for us in a consulting capacity and 5 folks that work on the training front. Our niche is really working with B2B organizations to help them to strategize and identify, segment their marketplace, come up with the messages that are going to resonate with whatever their constituency might be, whether that's an investment constituency, whether that's a prospect or a customer that you're trying to grow. And sometimes it actually might just be business development and strategic partnerships. But what we've put together for you is a program that really unleashes all of the things that, frankly, I get paid a whole lot of money to do for really large companies, to allow us to level the playing field and allow us to have access to some of the insights and training strategies and frameworks that have been successful in my engagements with a lot of these other firms. So basically, the way the curriculum works, we've got an asynchronous curriculum, meaning on-demand, online, high polish, incredibly high production video value, 3 hours of training. There's a lot of me and my head moving around like you see right now, but really deep content supported by an online workbook that helps you to understand things like your market and your message, helps you to understand things like how to navigate this world of email and cold calling, and what messages should be used on social, what messages should be used in outreach, and how do you deploy these in a sequence that makes sense so that folks can have an opportunity to understand the value you provide, the problems that you solve for, and how best to go about engaging with you. Additionally, how do you go about establishing rapport? You know, most sales organizations and sales trainings talk about rapport as being essential, but it's a little more in depth than just, you know, talking about affinity or talking about where you live and where you're located and who won the last ball game and kids and family and anniversaries. There's a real science to how you go about leveraging rapport to create an opportunity that creates a trusted advisor relationship and allows you to be able to solve some problems for an organization in an open atmosphere of safety and trust. In addition to that, once you've got that safety and trust, you've got to understand your winning zone. When I say winning zone, it's where do you win versus the competition? Where do you want to have conversations? How do you drive conversations in that direction so that you've got deals in your pipeline that are likely to close, as opposed to wasting time with folks where you're talking about things that are table stakes, or God forbid, you're having conversations about things that really your competitors do better than you. And we have to own what those things are, right? We know where our market niche is. We know why we're in business, whether we're a product, a service, a solopreneur, or a large organization. Understanding how do we articulate that value proposition in a way that's going to be impactful to the audience that helps us to thrive. In addition to that, we want to talk a little bit about how to control these meetings. Sometimes we get into conversations, and as salespeople, as sales leaders, as individuals, we're kind of trying to figure out, well, you know, I'm talking to somebody and it seems as though this could be an opportunity, but I'm not sure where to go next. So we actually go real deep on frameworks that help you understand how to tee up a conversation so that you've got the best opportunity for next steps, and exactly what those next steps should be, how you go about articulating those and collaborating with your prospect or with your existing customer if you're upselling or expanding an opportunity, so that you have a great opportunity to understand what your pipeline should look like, what should close, predictability with respect to revenue. And that's something that I think we're all interested in. Obviously, no one lays down and just says, sure, behavior change, sure, buy something, I'll take it immediately. So we've got to understand how to manage resistance. Resistance is natural human behavior. It should be allowed to exist. I don't like calling these objections. A lot of sales training firms and sales organizations talk about, we got to handle objections, and they get this whole book of how we handle pricing objection, timing objection, system objections, someone else I have to talk to inside the organization objections. They're not objections. It's just natural human resistance and an exploration of the sales process that you need to collaborate on as a trusted advisor. So we talk about, again, frameworks and the psychology of how you go about navigating that conversation in a way that either drives you really quickly to a disqualification, which is great because you don't want to spend time with folks who are tire kicking or folks who you do not have an opportunity to sell to, or how you go about nurturing that in a way that's going to lead to a sale optimally for you or potentially for your team. Objections are important. Resistance is important. In addition to that, you got to be able to understand what resources someone is going to need inside of the sales process or from their own organization to be able to do business with you. So we look at resources as being one's willingness and ability to sacrifice in order to do business. A lot of folks immediately rush to, well, do they have the money? Money is just one part of the equation, particularly in 2021, even more so in 2022. There are lots of things we have to harness: political resources. We've got to understand technology resources, potentially. We have to understand human resources, the energy of the organization, emotional resources, whether they're invested and they truly have pain and urgency and commitment to the process. We teach you how to get through all of these things. In addition, it is obviously critically important that we understand next steps and we're able to march someone through an initial conversation with us where they might be just dipping the toe in to understand what it is that we do and if there's a problem that we can solve, all the way through the iterant steps that get you to a closed deal, or again, a quick disqualification, because we don't want deals in the pipeline that don't have a chance to close. So we talk about pipeline management and how to go about creating velocity and urgency so that those deals that you should be winning, you win them and you win them fast. And then finally, we're going to go deep on this concept of how you close the deals and create a systemic way that you can do this with predictability, as opposed to just kind of hoping, or there are a lot of folks I talk to who feel as though, well, if I present my product, then folks should just sign up. And we know that that doesn't happen. If it does happen, it doesn't happen with predictability. And the name of the game is revenue predictability and being able to understand what you can book when. And last but not least, I know I said finally on the last one, but perhaps the most important piece of this is what happens between the ears, which is ensuring that whether it's you or whether you're doing this with the intention of sharing it potentially with your team, or whether you invite your team to some of these sessions, how do we leverage a mindset that allows for us to put our best foot forward, that allows for us to create continuous habits that correlate to success, and that allows for us to engage in a sales process which is rife with rejection, which is rife with disappointment and variable levels of interest, right? That's just part of the deal. How do we keep our head in the game in a way where this does not become discouraging? We understand how to separate ourselves from that, and we take incremental progress and correlate that to a lifetime of value. So there's a ton of value in this program. And, frankly, I'm opening this up. I've got a lot of family members who are alphas. I guess there is no were. There are some who have moved to the great beyond, but I'm sure they're still repping alpha. So I did this in partnership with David, who I respect a lot, and he'll probably chat with you a little bit here. He and I have been working together for, David, what is it, 10, 12 years, something like that. We were the two folks who looked like us inside of a very large organization, and then we both moved on in another direction and have maintained the partnership, strong friendship, and a family-like relationship. So I respect him greatly. We wanted to bring something that we thought would have an immense amount of value for someone who heard what I just went through. This is right for you if the things I said just sound like a no-brainer. If it's like, these are things I'm going to be challenged with in 2022. I want to grow my business. Maybe I'm hiring people. I need to increase the competency level of folks who are on my team, or I just want to feel more confident. The world changed with COVID and I need to approach my market differently. I'm dealing with things like Zoom and in-person meetings that I can't do anymore. So I need to find another way. If any of those types of things have been going through your head and you've been looking for a solution, the program is the right one for you. In addition to the asynchronous on-demand learning, obviously we've built this in such a way where you've got regular office hour sessions with me, and they are with me, not anyone else on my team. David and I will be the people who are present in these conversations to help calibrate the information that you learn in the training to your business, to your specific scenarios. So a lot of coaching in there. Again, this is stuff that I do on a regular basis with really large firms that pay above six figures for our engagement, or are giving us big chunks of equity. And I'm happy to be able to open this up to you and your membership and be able to work with you. So hope I didn't take too much time here. I appreciate the audience. I look forward to meeting any of you. Again, connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'd love to see you in the program. Wishing you and your family happy holidays and a joyous and prosperous new year.
Thank you, Hillman. Hillman Story. He is in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I want to reiterate one of the things that Hillman mentioned was, yes, he and I met approximately 12 years ago, interestingly enough, in all places in Baltimore. Yeah, we actually met in Baltimore at the Hyatt Regency hotel there. We were there for a conference. And as he indicated, we spotted each other across the room. So we knew we were the only two at that time as a part of a large training organization that's a global training organization. I was actually a franchise owner of one of a training organization based here in Dallas. And so in 2014, I decided to open up my own shop, and Hillman followed, I think, probably about a year and a half later. So fantastic opportunities. Hillman has mentioned the things that we are doing in partnership with one another. And just so you know, in terms of my sales training background, has been primarily with small entrepreneurial types of companies, as well as mid-market size companies. So you may be thinking, well, why should I get involved in this? And that's because, one, it's a B2B program. It is a program that is asynchronous and that will allow you learning opportunities, starting in January through the month of March. On a monthly basis, Hillman and I will provide for you a 90-minute coaching session that will be virtual, just like this is, and we'll have an opportunity to visit with you. Now, we have a couple of restrictions with this program, so you really need to sign up quickly. We're going to limit it to no more than 19 brothers per session, because we want to be able to give you that personal contact. So if you're thinking about it, don't think too long about it. Tonight is a great opportunity to start signing up. Brother Johnson will be able to answer some questions about the program, as well as, my contact information is available through Alpha Elite, and you can also connect with me on LinkedIn. Now, to move the program along, I want to make sure that we move into the next section. So, we're not just offering one thing, brothers. We're offering multiple things under what we call the master classes for 2022. And so let's start on talking about the bundle classes. And so let's bring up the first slide as we talk about the bundle classes. So there are 3 classes that are made up under what we call the bundle. And the very first one we're going to kick 2022 off with in January is Goals Matter. What we will cover during Goals Matter training. So I know everybody is probably, ready to rock and roll. They are setting goals. They're doing New Year's resolutions, however you want to look at it. But the reality of it is we're going to help you move this process along. So what we're going to do is these classes, there will be 2 classes during the month of January. Each of these classes will be approximately 90 minutes in length as we focus on goal setting and goal planning. So as you can see on the screen here, wildly important goals, we're going to turn those into SMART goals. We want to make sure that these are the goals that you dream about, and we want them to be SMART goals for you as well. Why goals are important, why we fail at making goals, the types of various goals, business, personal, financial, all of those things are going to be tied into the goal setting process. The goals process and a vision board. We all need to have a vision board so there's a visual so we can look at it throughout 2022. And that way we can stay in tune to some of the things that we have set in place. And last but not least, there is accountability. And that sometimes is a difficult word and a difficult phrase for people to really grasp, because accountability is something that means we are going to hold you accountable and you're going to hold yourself accountable through an accountability partner. So that's just a quick overview of the Goals Matter bundle training class that we will kick 2022 off with in January. Once again, there will be 2 sessions, each 90 minutes in length. And now I'm going to bring up Coach Jamila, who is going to talk to you about something that is extremely important in your everyday living, but also in the workplace. So Coach Jamila, take it away and talk to them about some of the things that are important as it relates to health and wellness in the workplace?
Well, of course. Well, thank you. So thank you, Dad. It's weird saying Brother Tyson, but thank you, Brother Tyson. Thank you, Dad, for the introduction. I am Coach Jamila. I'm a certified health coach. And one of the things that I know with many of my clients, they have sedentary jobs. They're constantly sitting. They don't get a lot of movement. And one of the first things we talk about is mindset. So in this masterclass that I'll be teaching, we're going to be talking and focusing on fixed versus growth mindset. If y'all can drop in the chat for me, if you know what a fixed mindset is, just one example of a fixed mindset, and if you've experienced having a fixed mindset, I would love for y'all to drop that in the chat. One of the things I know about a fixed mindset, for example, a fixed mindset will avoid challenges at all costs. They don't want to do challenges. They don't want to deal with challenges. On the other hand, a growth mindset embraces challenges. Okay. So in this first topic, we're really going to be focusing on mindset, because mindset is really the first thing that we want to shift in order to create habit change. Habit change is very important. The next thing we're going to be talking about is stress management and how it impacts your weight. How many of y'all, even if you can't drop it in the chat, I want you to think about this. I can only imagine how many of y'all have experienced stress in the workplace. I know I've experienced stress in the workplace. And it's very important that we find ways to manage stress, because I will tell you this, stress is one of the top reasons we gain weight. If you have high levels of cortisol, which is your stress hormone, that impacts your abdomen, it impacts weight gain. So we're going to really talk about ways to manage your stress and really conquer that. The next thing I want to focus on is finding pockets of time in your day so that you can get in some type of movement or focus on meal planning or meal prep. There are a lot of things I tell my clients is I'm so busy. They're saying I'm so busy. I don't have time to do anything. I'm always working. I have kids after work, whatever the case may be. And so one of my tips is I say you have to find pockets of time, even if that means writing down your schedule and finding 15 minutes out of your day to take a short brisk walk, to lift some weights, whatever it may be. So we're going to be focusing on how you can find pockets of time in your day to focus on healthy habits. And when I want to talk about movement, I want to kind of give you some statistics real quick. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, 59% of employees do not get adequate exercise. 50% or more have high cholesterol. 27% have cardiovascular disease. 26% are overweight. 24% have high blood pressure. So we get the point, right? High statistics in the workplace when it comes to a healthy lifestyle. I want to talk to you all about the power of movement, and once again, how we can incorporate that with pockets of time, how you can also help your stress levels, because movement really helps you build up those good endorphins, which really conquer your stress hormone. And then the next thing I'll talk about in my masterclass is curating a plan. It's all about having a plan. A lot of people, a lot of my clients, the reason they come to me is because they need to figure out, how can I create a plan similar to creating goals, right? How can I create a plan that I can stick with so I can create this lifestyle change? It's not about a diet. We're not talking about diets. I'm not about diets, because diets don't last. It's all about creating a sustainable lifestyle change that you will enjoy, that you can do. So we're going to talk about curating a plan and some steps that you can take with that. So that will be my masterclass. Again, a fixed versus growth mindset, stress management, finding pockets of time, the power of movement, and then curating a plan. So that is that.
So thank you, Jamila. So I would just say that this session will take place during the month of February, and there will be 2 sessions. Each session will average approximately 90 minutes. You know, sometimes these sessions may go over a little bit. It just depends upon how enthusiastic you are about learning more about, you know, what takes place. But again, so the second part of the bundle piece is health and wellness in the workplace, that will be taught by Coach Jamila. So you see her right here, and you know she's live and in living color. So she will be available to do this, and certainly you can connect with Jamila on LinkedIn as well. Just reach out to Jamila Tyson or Coach Jamila to connect with her on LinkedIn. Just a few other quick points as it relates to each of us, and Brother Eric Waters will be coming on in just a moment. But I just want you to know we are not new at this. We've been doing this for a number of years. I've been doing training and leadership development now for 16 years, brothers. This actually, December launches my 16th year in business. You know, I started during a time when they said the economy and everything was falling apart, but God bless the work that has been done. 16 years now in business. I have a long range of management training, a long-term corporate relationship where I've worked in large corporations. So we've done a number of things along those lines. Jamila has worked in large corporations where she's managed more people than I've managed in one single leap. I think approximately 25 to 30 people. Is that right, Jamila? That you manage remotely primarily?
It was about 35.
30. See, so we've done this, and we're not new at it. So we will provide programs for the brotherhood. And now I'll bring the next slide that I want to bring up is what we talk about is communications in the workplace. And I think what you'll be able to see is how all of these, how they all work together. And so the assessment tool that we utilize within SalesTrac training is called DISC. And I'm sure several of you have probably done DISC, and you may have done it either DISC or Myers-Briggs or some other facsimile of some type of human behavior working program. And so what we're going to do is actually offer this as a part of the training modality during the month of March. So let's go ahead and kick in the other pieces that are there. Just go ahead and load them all up. There are actually 4 pillars. There we go. So I just would just say, just load them all up. They may not be very easy to see, but DISC is basically an assessment model that helps you identify your means of communications, how you interface with people in the workplace, how you understand yourself. It's not just, it's important that we understand who we are, but it's also important that we understand the people that we're working with. So what we're going to be able to do is talk about understanding what we call the 4 steps of effective communications. And of course, just so you know, the DISC acronyms, D is for dominant or direct, I is for influencers. You know, it's interesting about influencers because people just think influencing just started. Well, the DISC, the I in DISC has been around for over 100 years. So influencing is not something new. The S is for a person that may be a little bit more laid back in their communication style. And so we call that person kind of an S type of communicator. And then, of course, the C is a person that tends to be more compliance, more control oriented in some cases. But, you know, I always like to say the C's are the folks that like to have the T's crossed and the I's dotted. And so I'm going to bring up brother Dr. Gerald, brother Dr. Eric Waters, and whom, you know, has had experience in working with this one-on-one and in group sessions with the brothers in the home office. So SalesTrac Training is also doing some consulting and training work at Alpha headquarters. And one of the things that Brother Waters is doing is working with the leadership team in Alpha headquarters. And that is associated with some of the programs that he's been doing with DISC. So I'm going to ask Brother Waters to speak to some of the things that he's doing and how he's seen this be effective in the workplace.
Thank you, Brother Tyson. My name is Eric Waters. Most recently, I was a professor of organizational communication at Marquette University. So I do know a few things about communicating in the workplace. And for the better part of the year, as Brother Tyson alluded to, we've been working with the staff at headquarters using the DISC assessment. The beautiful thing about communication is it's not necessarily something that's innate. It is a skill. It is something that you can hone. and get better at. And what the DISC assessment does is provide a good baseline so that we can work with you to figure out, what your communication style is, what type of communication style you feel you need to have at work. We can also work with you to help you determine the communication styles of others in your workplace and how you can adjust to work better with them. So ultimately, the DISC assessment is the first step in creating better leaders and better brothers as well, because it helps you out in becoming a more effective communicator.
Awesome. Awesome, Brother Waters. And we have one last slide, and I'm going to tie everything together, the bundle package as well as the sales training. And that goes back to what we were talking about, something at the very beginning. I created this some years ago, and I call this the success pyramid. And as you can see at the very top of the success pyramid is attitude. And right, we brothers, we have attitude, don't we? We Alpha brothers certainly have attitude. We talk about Alpha attitude all the time. Well, in addition to having attitude, you also have to have the right behaviors. And so Coach Jamila and Dr. Waters have talked about some of the behaviors that are associated with how we can be effective. And then, of course, we have to have skill sets. We have to have techniques in order to put those things into play. So attitude is the majority of what you're looking at. And if you see on the corners there, we talk about the beliefs, how you feel about yourself. That's number one. If you don't feel good about yourself, then you've got trash in your mindset and you're not able to orchestrate that in such a way that it actually is communicated to others. If you're in the sales space, then you've got to have the right attitude in order to talk to a prospect, to pick up the telephone and make a dial, to send an email. All of those things are associated with it. And then we bring in certainly behavior. And behavior is some of the things that we're talking about right now as it relates to the bundle packages when we talk about goals, plans, and actions. If you don't have goals, you won't be effective with your plans. If you don't have plans, you won't be effective with your actions. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening, because you are working in the behavior category right now, because you've taken some action by listening to this program. And then, of course, we have skills. And those are the various skills that we learn. Brother Waters alluded to that in terms of you have to have certain types of skill sets in order to get over obstacles. Like it takes approximately anywhere from 90 to 120 days, to change habits, to get yourself into a frame of mind, to change the behaviors and introduce the skill sets that will allow you to change habits. So those are all important. So let me just kind of take a step forward, 2 steps forward, right? However, these are focused on the programs that we've put in place. So the bundle package includes a session in January that is going to focus on goals, 2 sessions in January that will focus on goal setting. A session in February, 2 sessions that will focus on health and wellness in the workplace. And then 2 sessions during the month of March that will focus on achieving success through understanding your communication style. That session will also include each person getting an individual DISC assessment for them to actually take a look at, and for us to build upon their success. Now, I know there are probably some questions that may be popping up through the process, and we'll be glad to answer those questions. But I'm going to turn it back over to Brother Gerald Johnson, and I'm going to put Brother Johnson on the spot just for a moment, because Brother Johnson actually has done the DISC assessment, and he and Dr. Waters is his executive coach. So I don't know if you have anything that you want to add to this in terms of DISC, because you're actually not only a student of it, but you're also a person who's been able to go through some adaptations, really over the last year.
Absolutely, Brother Tyson, and thank you for putting me on the spot. The DISC assessment as a team within our general office has been something that has not only brought us closer together but it's really opened our eyes to a lot of opportunities, is what I like to call them, within our leadership styles as well as our effectiveness collectively. We were able to see how folks maybe more of a D as compared to some that maybe more of a C, and then we're able to see really how those different personalities, perspectives, and ways of really moving forward kind of interact with one another. But what really puts the icing on the cake is those counseling sessions with myself and Brother Dr. Waters, where we get to really dive into my own personal makeup and how I'm able to really one, respond to areas that may be of weakness, and also how I'm able to better portray those areas of strength. And so it's a really good balancing act and really provide us a lot of guidance moving forward.
Awesome. Thank you, Brother Johnson. So I just want to kind of round it up again. So we'll be launching in January. In January, we'll be launching the sales training format, which is the winner's circle, where you'll be taught a sales training platform that's called Triangle Selling. I want you to understand that it's the winner's circle, and the platform is called Triangle Selling. And Hillman mentioned to you some of the programs and some of the organizations that have been involved with this training program. I just want to mention a few others that I've worked with. Specifically, I've worked with Bank of America. I've worked with State Farm Insurance Company. I've worked with Nationwide Insurance Company, but I've also worked with individual entrepreneurs like you. So there's no reason for any brother to say that this is not something that fits what I need to get done, because ultimately you are responsible for your own success, not your corporation. You're not the membership organization that you're a part of. Ultimately, this comes back to the mindset pieces that we were talking about. Your success is driven by you. If you want to be successful in your business environment, you want to be the best salesperson there is in 2022 and beyond, you want to make X hundreds of thousands of dollars, then this training platform, this sales training platform, will allow you to do this. This is one of the things that we're offering you, because sales training, no matter where you are, everybody sells something, whether it's an idea, whether it's a product or service, but everybody sells something. And then, of course, the bundle. I really love the bundle, the fact that we've got important and individuals like Coach Jamila, Dr. Waters, and of course myself, that will be focusing on things that you will need in 2022. All of these programs will be done virtually over the next 3 months, starting in January. We're looking forward to you, brothers, signing up. Oh, we've got one little extra piece for you that we added. So particularly in the bundle package, we didn't forget about the spouses. So this is something that you'll be able to do. You'll be able to invite your spouse to participate in the bundle package. Now, so just know that these are programs that are available, and we're looking forward to being a part of the success of each and every brother in 2022. Brother Johnson?
Brother Tyson, Coach Jamila, Brother Dr. Waters, thank you all so much for taking the time out of this evening to introduce our brothers to this extraordinary opportunity. I know it's maybe nuanced to our brothers that we're offering these opportunities, but this is the level that we want to be as far as the distinction. So we thank you all for joining us tonight and listening in. And for those that are looking for more information, please visit Alpha Elite for how to sign up and register for the upcoming sessions, as well as more information about SalesTrac training. And with that, I bid you all a good night. Please be safe throughout the holidays. Be well.
Thank you.